Well, hi there, everybody. Good morning to meteorologist Travis Klineski here on this Monday morning. We've got a busy 36 hours ahead of us here. We've got more warmth, very windy conditions returning to the area today, but unlike the last several times we've had these windy days and the fire threat's been pretty widespread, it's more confined to areas that'll be a little bit drier here, both to the west and to the north. We've got a warm front lifting northward, so the drier air is going to be north of that front. So northeast Nebraska included in a red flag warning. And then out west, some drier air here too, so red flag warning in place. This starts later this morning, mostly either 10 or 11 o'clock, I think mostly 11 o'clock Central Time, and continues until the mid to late evening hours here, depending on where you are. Other areas right here, the strong winds are actually going to pump some higher relative humidity, some low-level moisture into our area. So the relative humidity numbers will be a little bit higher, so which should alleviate some of that fire threat for today. But again, the big stories of the day, strong winds, continuation of the warm weather today, and then the severe weather that's coming, and most of it's going to be tonight well after dark. Let's jump into the future cast here. Not a lot going on right now. There are a couple of spotty little showers and sprinkles kind of right in here this morning. Nothing too much to get worked up about. Most of us will see a lot of sunshine today, and then some clouds bubbling up in the afternoon. The biggest thing is there is a very strong cap in the atmosphere that's going to prevent thunderstorms from firing up. So most of us will not see much. If we do see anything, it's going to probably start here first. There is one model that's kind of firing up storms right in here. So I am including a very small chance of a late afternoon thunderstorm for the Tri-Cities, but more than likely most of anything that does fire up late this afternoon and early this evening is going to be across northern Nebraska. All modes of severe weather are possible. This is along a warm front lifting northward. Look at the winds blowing out of the southeast. Those winds, 25 to 35 miles per hour, gusts up to around 45, 50 miles per hour. So some very strong winds, and that's wrapping around an area of low pressure out here in the panhandle. You can see the counterclockwise spin there. Pushing through the evening now, we'll go from 8 o'clock to midnight. Those lift northward. We'll start to see more storms developing along a boundary right here. So while there could be some activity before that in the Tri-Cities, our better chance is going to come probably well after dark. And we're taking this through the late night hours. Most of you are sleeping, and we're going to have that chance of thunderstorms rolling through during the late night hours. And all modes of severe weather are still going to be possible late tonight. And the main reason I say all modes is because we have a lot of shear in the atmosphere, a lot of spin. And that shear could lead to some spin-ups of tornadoes, especially along that line of storms here. So we're going to have to watch all modes of severe weather late tonight through early tomorrow morning. Around this time tomorrow morning, they're probably starting to lift off to the east and northeast and move off to the northeast. That threat will then shift away from us to the east, but our lows now right here, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. More showers and storms will fire up around that. Now, the chances of severe weather will be much lower during the day tomorrow. The bigger threat's going to be off to our east, other than maybe the morning threat right in here. A little bit of dry air right here, but there's the wraparound moisture, showers, and isolated thunderstorms. One thing that in past events I have seen on this is kind of the day after the big day is sometimes around the very tightly wound areas of low pressure, you get brief, what we call cold core tornado setups. Brief little tornadoes that can actually sometimes do a little damage. So while it is unlikely, there is a low-end chance of an isolated tornado around that low pressure system tomorrow, right in there even, tomorrow afternoon. You kind of see those little bits of convection around that low right there on Albion, Grand Island to Albion. So keeping an eye on that threat even into tomorrow afternoon. The severe weather threat by that point should be mostly gone as we get towards tomorrow evening and lifting to the northeast. Some lingering showers. Very strong winds continue out of the west and northwest tomorrow. They'll die down a little bit towards Wednesday morning, and will dry out for a time. Some sunshine will return on Wednesday before our next round of moisture, which is off to the northwest here, will start to make its way through Wednesday night into Thursday. So, biggest change to the severe weather threat is to expand the enhanced risk of severe weather. The Storm Prediction Center has expanded this to cover a large portion of the Local 4 viewing area. For most of this will be tonight. Maybe this afternoon and early this evening here, but then overnight for most of the rest of us here. All modes of severe weather will be possible. The threat does get a little lower as you go to the west, as you get farther to the west and southwest there. But like I said, all modes of severe weather possible. Hail over 2 inches in diameter, not out of the question with some of these storms. Along that line of storms pushing eastward, 60 plus mile per hour wind gusts, maybe up to 70 miles per hour. But also cannot rule out a few tornadoes with the strongest storms, especially within that line. Some embedded twists could occur, maybe putting down brief tornadoes that could do some damage. So this is late tonight. Many of us will be in bed. So one thing I'll tell you right now, have multiple ways of getting warnings as you're sleeping. The best way is all hazards weather radio. You can pick them up. I believe Walmart has them. I know Ace Hardware, I think, has them. Now's the time to get that and get that set up ahead of time. They're pretty easy to set up. They're annoying, but they will wake you up. Cell phones can be good, but keep in mind, if a cell phone network goes down because of severe weather, you lose that ability right there. Tornado sirens are not always a good way because, one, they're meant for people outdoors. They're not a good thing for people that are indoors because sometimes they're hard to hear, especially when you're sleeping at night. So again, I would highly recommend an all hazards weather radio if you can get a hold of one. Tomorrow, the threat, mostly in the morning, right in here. That early initial storm activity in the morning and then pushes east. There's actually a much higher risk and even more of a tornado threat tomorrow over towards parts of Iowa and Missouri. Now, I will tell you right now, I do still want to keep an eye on that low pressure center right here as that lifts northeastward tomorrow afternoon. I still think there's a low end tornado threat, isolated tornado threat tomorrow afternoon right in there. So I know it's not marked with anything, but I'm highlighting it in an arrow right here where I think there's at least a low end chance of isolated tornadoes. Also tomorrow out west, high wind watch in place. The winds are going to get stronger again, so a high wind watch in place out west. Wind gusts there could be as much as maybe 55 or 60 miles per hour out there to the west. So we'll see some pretty strong winds elsewhere, but the strongest winds will be out west. All right, it's going to be a warm day today again. Highs into the 80s to near 90 degrees. Very warm weather. Say goodbye to it after today. Tonight still pretty mild. 40s out west, 50s in the middle, lower 60s out to the east and southeast. Cooler, but still pretty mild tomorrow. We'll see highs now with the clouds and the showers. It's holding temperatures down a little bit. 50s, 60s, and some lower to mid 70s here to the east and southeast. Tomorrow night, not as warm. 40s for most of us, near 50 in Hebron, some 30s here to the west. And then as we go into your Wednesday, we're still pretty mild, but you can see some of the cooler air off to the north and northwest. That's going to be sinking southward Wednesday night into Thursday. Let's check out that 7-day forecast for the Tri-Cities. And again, you can see the thunderstorm chances mostly, now there's a small chance late this afternoon and this evening, but mostly, if I had a pinpointed time frame, 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the Tri-Cities. But even after that, and that's the severe weather threat. But then even tomorrow, the severe weather threat's lower, not zero, but lower, but still showers and thunderstorms are possible around that low pressure center. Very windy these next several days, cooling down tomorrow and Wednesday, but then much cooler. We get another round of showers Wednesday night into Thursday. Maybe some snow over western and northern areas. Much chillier and still a little windy on your Thursday. Friday morning, another small chance of rain, maybe some snow to the northwest. Staying on the cool side. Rain, and I have included a few snowflakes for us in the Tri-Cities early Saturday morning. Breezy and a little chilly out there for Saturday's. Highs won't even get to 50. The lows are going to get colder. We start to come up a little bit on Sunday, and then beyond that, it is going to warm back up. So you see the big dip in temperatures coming later this week and the weekend, and then we start to warm back up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday into the 60s, and eventually the 70s returning. North Platte, I did not put together a 7-day forecast for viewers that are watching in North Platte because I've been so busy today, just with the focus with the Tri-Cities. There's been a lot to talk about here. I will show you the North Platte 10-day forecast. So no major differences other than maybe you have a slightly better chance with some of those chances of rain later in the week. Maybe picking up a little snow with that as well. So that's something to keep an eye on. I don't want to put too much, I just didn't put too much focus on it right now because we've got so much going on just in these next couple of days. But I'll show you some of the long-range models real quick here. Here's the North American model. And again, you see not much. This is 10 p.m. Not much. Northern Nebraska maybe. But then late tonight through tomorrow morning, there's our thunderstorm threat. That shifts to our east, but we still get the wraparound moisture tomorrow. Then it'll move on out tomorrow night. Here comes that next chance of moisture Wednesday night into Thursday. Snow, rain that could mix with a little snow for some, especially west and northwest of the Tri-Cities. And that's as far out as the North American model goes. European model. The European model is a little sooner with thunderstorm development. And then more tonight and early tomorrow morning. We get a little bit of a dry spell, but then there's the wraparound moisture tomorrow afternoon. The bigger threat of severe weather will be to our east, parts of Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois. But again, I still think there's a low-end chance here in the Tri-Cities area of seeing a little severe weather tomorrow afternoon. Then that lifts to the northeast tomorrow night. A brief break. Here come the next chance of showers Wednesday night into Thursday. A little snow off to the west. Not as aggressive with the snow compared to the North American model. Another break. Early Friday morning, a slight chance of rain. Maybe some snow northwest. And then still keeping that slight chance in the Saturday morning, rain and maybe a little snow, we'll see. And then maybe a chance to dry out and start to warm things up as we get into next week. And a real quick of the GFS model here. There's the showers and thunderstorms late today and into tonight. A little more wraparound moisture tomorrow, lifting to the northeast. And then we focus on the next chance here Wednesday night into Thursday. Rain, some snow out west. And then for another small chances Friday and Saturday there. Notice the snow trying to mix in. And then maybe some more moisture next week. We'll see. That keeps us fairly active into next week. Well, I have to let you all go. I want to thank you all for watching on this Monday morning. Stay safe out there. I may do an update later today. We'll see. Otherwise, keep an eye on that severe weather threat again, most of us while we're sleeping tonight. Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you all again on Tuesday morning. Take care, and God bless. Bye.